Hey, it's Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and it is Tuesday. It's November 5th. This will be our chart lesson for the day. I'm feeling a lot better today. I don't sound much better. I still sound like Barry White. As people always tend to tease me when I get in this mess. It seems like my voice does this every time I get kind of a throat issue every couple of years. But anyway, I feel a whole lot better today. I don't sound much better. Um, if it weren't for the fact that there's only a handful of trades here today, I'd probably just put the chart up and leave it at that. But there's only 4 or 5 trades here, so I'm going to go through them real quick. I feel good enough to go through them today, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it. I'm going to show you what I saw real quickly, talk about these 4 or 5 trades, and then we'll wrap it up. It's really kind of a low volume, low lack of movement kind of day. Notice how we're back and forth above and below the EMA. Generally that means that prices are really just going sideways for most of the day. We had a little bit of a downtrend. Notice we had 2 legs down, and then we had a little bit more down, and then we kind of had 2 legs up. And so there's 2 legs down here and a leg up and a little correction, another leg up about equal. We might have went a little bit further, and then we're traded back down again now. There was I was pretty much playing this as a range until here. When we turned down here, you had to assume that trend line's valid. You drop it down here, it fits perfectly. It fits perfectly on the midline. So it's a valid trend channel coming down there. Just in case we continued lower right through here, which it looked like we tried, but you can see that trend channel line held. So in that instance, you still want to find your measured move down just in case we drop on down and then you've got a target. But in this case, really, you were better off just to play the 2-tiered channel. You didn't really know when it was going to reverse here. You didn't get a good reversal on it, but all the same, it still came into play. And we tested that line a few times. Went up, we tested the midline before we went on higher. Finally got a break, and now we're heading down. It's possible we could get a new low. There's still about 15 minutes. It's 3 o'clock now, so you probably can't trade anymore. Most of your brokers will kick you out around 3 o'clock because of the day trader status. But if you, we may move on down here before the close at 3:15 and make a new low. I don't know. It doesn't look like we're probably going to do that, but it's possible. But I'm gonna back out a little bit. We'll go through the trades. Hopefully you can see what I'm talking about there, and we'll go through the trades real quickly, and I'm gonna wrap it up because I'm gonna go home early again today. I'm still not feeling 100%. Like I said, I'm a lot better, but I'm still not 100% yet. So, and I plan on taking some time off here. Um, Probably sometime in November, I'm gonna take a whole week off, another week's vacation, and I'll probably take the last 2 weeks of the year like usual as well. So I plan to take off a little bit towards the end of the year here. So I'd want to try to get in as many chart lessons as I can between now and then because I will be taking quite a bit of time off over the next couple of months. So, but anyway, 7 o'clock came in this little. You can see we kind of got in this little range here. I marked this one. This is not a great setup, but notice there's a new low here, so a first entry, and so there is a second entry short there. This was a relatively bearish bar if prices would have broke lower, but we ended up going higher before we turned down again. But you still may take that trade. That's a failed breakout, and you've got one little 2-legged move down, so you could probably count on at least maybe a measured move down. I'd probably measure that big move like so, and you can see we got a perfect measured move before it tried to bounce. We ended up going on lower though, and really what prices were doing, they were coming down to test the lows here, and notice we made a little double test before we bounced. So you may have taken that trade. I marked it green. If you had a good signal bar there, there's no reason that couldn't be read on a second entry right there on a failed breakout, knowing that we just came off the highs of what looks like a range. So, or even if you had a good signal bar here, maybe that's not quite enough to be a breakout pullback. So I doubt I'd go short right there. I'd probably want to see prices come underneath here and pull back and test it and give you a good signal bar. That's the better way to trade that. So. But it does drop on down to the overnight lows. Notice we got a break here and a new low. It's tempting to go long right here, but you better wait on a higher low because it was tempting right there too, and you see you would have got burned. So wait on. Of course, this is the overnight low, so you got a little better. There's a much better opportunity. It may bounce right here, but I'd still wait on this higher low, which comes right here. Now you got a double test on top of that. You got a good signal bar. I like going long right there. It took a little minute to get going, but once it did, where do we go? We go right back up to the top trend line. There's a higher low right here that you might consider, but I'd want to see a little bit more of a reversal first, and because we really just didn't take off here. But notice how it pushes up, pulls back, and it actually breaks lower and then goes out right here. I like going long right there. You could actually wait. You could actually wait and let it break higher above this bar and maybe drop a limit order back in here a tick or two, and you would have got filled. You see it came back, but I like going long just when it went higher there. And I don't think I would wait and go long above that bar because it's such a big bar. I'd at least try a limit order here. Sometimes you'll miss your best trades like that, but you're better to miss a trade than to get sucked in at the wrong place and get a bad entry and take a loss. But what does it do? It runs all the way up. It looks like we're not going to get a signal bar here, but then finally it gives you this big bearish bar right here, and you got all these equal tops. If it breaks lower there that way, up far away from the EMA, I like taking that on down. And there is an overshoot right there, even though we don't have a break and a new high. You can see that channel is working up through there, and we get the overshoot. But this is obviously going to be the dominant pattern, and when we test it 1, 2, 3, 4 times, we're probably going to at least come back to the EMA, and this thing just takes off. That turns out to be the trade of the day, really. And it runs all the way back down here. Again, it's tempting to go long here, but we don't have a lot of proof that this is the correct line yet. You want to see it a little more proof. Of course, it does bounce here, but you don't get a very good signal bar. There's a failed second entry short here, but everything's still below the EMA. And when it breaks higher right there, you finally got your two legs back to test the breakout area. Notice there's a leg up and then there's a little two-legged swing, so that's your second leg. So that's really, on a bigger picture, a second entry short, and that's a very bearish bar. So you may take that trade. I marked it green, but it's definitely a breakout pullback short, two legs back to test that breakout area. And it drops right on back down, and we kind of get back in this range again. You can't be going short way down here. There's a little breakout pullback short right there. I didn't get a very good setup right here. If you had a good signal bar real close to this high, you could have gone short there, but it just doesn't set up very good on mine. Then we bounce, and you don't get any entry on this. There's a second entry long right there. I did not mark this one. It's right at the EMA, right at the midline. It did close on the other side of the midline. Again, I didn't mark it. Second entry, and we actually jogged back one more time. If it would have went on out the other side, I'd say you might go long right there. But you could actually argue for either one of those to be green, especially this one, because this is a higher low on the reversal. And I think you would have got just enough to get out of that before it turns down. And then we come back, and notice how you get another turn down right here at that trend line. You do get a close outside. It's not convincing, but it's good enough. And we do have what looks like an overshoot here as well. I wouldn't try to go long down here, although that's tempting. I'd just stay away from it because it's really only one leg down. But I like going short here. It actually broke higher and turned and went out the other side. You're probably going to trap some longs right there. That was another nice move. And then again, this is where it's really hard to know what's going on. Obviously, we got a little channel working down, but we just came off the lows and we hadn't got back to the highs, and we're just really playing this midline. So are we going to go higher or are we going to go lower? The odds tell you you're going to go higher because you just came off the low side. But generally, you don't have this much of a correction before you try to go higher again. So it's a little deceiving, or it's a little hard to understand what maybe is going on here. And for that reason, when you ended up with 1, 2, 3, 4 bars stacked up there, a little congestion, even though you're a little away from the EMA, I'd just stay clear of this trade. and it does run on up. And we just start going sideways. We get stuck in another little channel. Like I said, we had a failed breakout here. If it wasn't for all that congestion and you had a really, this wasn't an up down, I'd say take that one. But you do get a lower high right here. And what you might do here, I don't think I would be willing to go short right there, even though it's and it actually broke higher and turned down. What I'd want to do here is make sure I got in with enough room to get out before this low right here. So you actually have to let it break lower and drop a limit order on back in here a little bit. And you would have got filled at least 2 or 3 ticks into that maybe, and that would have given you enough room. It wouldn't have mattered in the end because it ends up going lower, but you want to make sure you can get out before you get back to this point. And that was it. I mean, there just wasn't much happening today. There's some trades here that would have been okay if I had some good signal bars, but I just didn't. It wasn't real clear on my chart today. I mean, I don't know if some of y'all's charts look a little bit better than mine. Hopefully they did. But it wasn't hard to find 1 or 2 decent trades today, but you just had to be real patient. So just remember that. Some days are going to be like this, and just don't be forcing trades. Wait till you get the setup and wait till it fits the rules, and otherwise you just have to sit there and tough it out. And really I'd say there's 1, 2, 3, 4 decent trades today, and then there's 1, 2, 3, another 4 iffies. And this one was late. This was actually right at the 2 o'clock hour. Normally I wouldn't even mark that trade, but since there wasn't, since you had to go from 10:30 to 2, if you sat there all that time, that one would probably be worth taking if you, like I said, as long as you made sure you entered this trade with enough room to get out before this lows right here, because you don't know that even though it pushed on down, it bounced here again, and you don't want to get stopped out on. You wouldn't have in that case, but you don't know that ahead of time, so you got to play it safe and play it by the rules, or else you risk getting burned on a trade that because you didn't have enough room to scalp out. So anyway, again, if you back out, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up so I can quit talking here. My throat starts getting scratchy here. But again, we looked at this as a range early on. When we turned back down right here and didn't get back up to the highs, you had to really consider that trend line. You copy it and drag it down. It fits in here perfectly. It doesn't at first, but if you just drag it down here, eventually the prices come on down here, and you can see prices tested it once, twice, 3 times. So you got a double test of it right there. And then we finally, and even then it still wanted to go lower before it made that next leg up. And then we got our first break, and we're trying to make a new low, but I doubt we'll do it. We're already into the overnight trading, so it doesn't really matter at this point. The rules, as long as you followed the rules, you probably still followed through on all this. Anyway, I'm going to wrap it up. We'll be back again to do it tomorrow. Hopefully I'll be a little bit better even tomorrow than today. But again, I am feeling much better. I appreciate the notes and stuff that people sent. But yeah, I'm feeling a lot better today. We'll be back again to do it tomorrow. I'm done for today. This is Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and we'll see you next time.